the best diet is dependent on the goal. So what you have to be very clear about is what your goal even is. And that's the thing that people aren't very clear about, which is why you get such conflicting diet advice out there, and it's very difficult to know what the best thing is to do. So for me, there's one very big distinction to make that splits diets up into sort of two types, and then within that there's sort of some sub-distinctions depending on the specific goal you're actually aiming for. But before I go any deeper, I want to define diet. A diet isn't a method. A diet isn't a list of foods written down that you have to follow. A diet just means, what are you eating? That's all that diet means. What are you eating? What's your diet? Nobody doesn't eat food, because if you didn't eat food, it wouldn't be too long until you weren't around anymore. So everyone has a diet that they're on. It's just the food that they're eating. And if we're not eating in a chaos whirlwind, just shove whatever you want in your mouth kind of way, if we're starting to think, I should be eating in a deliberate way because I don't want to become worse over time, I want to get better over time, there's two buckets that your diet will go into. Either we're deliberately being controlled about our diet to make sure that we're not malnourished and to make sure that we're getting in adequate amounts of all of the nutrients we need, and that's what I refer to as a healthy everyday diet. And that's the diet that everyone should do. That's the best diet for everyone. A healthy diet that you can eat every day that ensures that you have adequate nutrition. And in reality, almost nobody does this. Even people who aim to eat healthy will find themselves lacking in certain nutrients when you actually look at the data. Now, what's cool about human beings is we can get by without having everything that we need. We're very adaptable and we'll do okay. So most people are doing okay eating in mildly malnourished ways. Most people feel just fine, but a good way to ensure that you're at least meeting most of those adequate levels that you need, the main thing that it's good to do is start with what I call a green-faced diet. Eating meat or animal proteins and vegetables, plants that grow out of the ground. If most of your major meals are a variety of meats and vegetables, plants and animals, then you can be pretty sure that you're getting near to adequate amounts of all of the nutrients you need. The macronutrients, proteins, carbs, fats, the micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, fiber, water, all of those things. That's a healthy diet. And a lot of people will start to see results when they switch from eating cheese pizzas and bread and biscuits and Haribo and switch to eating most of their major meals in a green-faced diet. But a results-based diet is a separate thing. So this is what I call going on a diet, which is different from eating a healthy diet. When you go on a diet, you need to define what the goal is that you're trying to achieve by manipulating your diet in very specific ways. So a healthy diet is actually quite a non-specific thing. Eat a whole foods, plants and animals type diet for most of your major meals. To then go beyond that and decide, I want to build muscle, I want to lose fat, I want to perform better for my sport, or even I want to recover from a specific illness. We then need to manipulate individual nutrients in order to achieve results. So if you just switch to a healthy diet, if the diet you came off was particularly undernourishing, just switching to a healthy diet might get you some way towards actually changing your body. But to move your body in a particular direction, we have to move your diet in a very particular direction as well. So you can't always expect eating a healthy diet to arrive at particular results with your body. So then there are two main goals when it comes to setting a direction. One is building muscle, and the other one is losing fat. Both of those things become very, very difficult if you're not also exercising, but I'm not going to talk about exercise here. But if you can match your exercise with a diet that either helps you to put on weight or lose weight, then you will find that fat loss and muscle gain actually becomes something you can control and influence by making particular changes to the food that you eat on a day-by-day basis. So once we're already eating a green-faced diet that's healthy and giving us adequate nutrition to not be malnourished, we can then try to eat towards a protein target. Now, eating towards a protein target is a very easy tool to help us ensure that we're getting in enough extra protein to either gain or not lose muscle when we're on a fat loss or a muscle gain diet. Quickest way to do that is take your height in centimeters, add 20, that's how many grams of protein you need to eat each day, multiply that by 7, that's how much protein you need to eat each week. Figure out how much food contains that amount of protein, buy that food every week, and make sure you've eaten it all by the end of the week. Then from there, we want to make sure that our total energy intake is causing us to either gain weight or lose weight. So if we want to gain weight to put on muscle, we add some extra carbohydrate rich foods. Oats, potatoes, rice, bread, even biscuits and crisps and chocolates if you like. Working on the assumption that most of your major meals already contain meat and vegetables to adequately meet your nutrient needs. And then conversely, if you're trying to lose weight, reduce the amount of carbohydrates that you're eating to make sure that you're underneath your calorie needs. So eating less bread, less pasta, less potatoes, and also less chocolate and biscuits and cake. If you're doing those things, you'll start to see that as long as you're doing your exercise along with it, fat loss will start to happen or muscle gain will start to happen, depending on your goal. Everything else on top of that is detail and will be individual to you and how you like to eat. Some people just love eating vegetables. Some people just love eating meat. Some people hate eating anything over-processed. Some people love having things that are over-processed in their diet and can't do without it. All of those things can be accommodated for within that model that I just gave. So the best diet for you is going to be dependent on whether you're trying to just be healthy right now, or whether you're trying to gain muscle right now, or whether you're trying to lose fat right now, and the particularities of your preferences and the cost and availability of the food that you want to eat. I should mention that the one thing that I didn't accommodate for is if you don't like eating animal products. And these days, with the kind of modern industrial farming and the ability to ship stuff all over the world and engineer our food and process our food, it is possible to get in adequate protein all from plant-based products. But you have to be a little bit more clever about how you combine all those foods together. And for the average person, it's quite a lot of effort. And it relies quite heavily on modern industrial farming and global supply chains in order to keep that kind of diet up. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not so sure modern industry and global supply chains and heavily processed foods is a thing that it's good to be supporting. And remember, the answer to every question is to stop asking questions until you start doing things in the real world. So if you're not even eating in a very healthy way in the first place, you haven't even started by just trying to eat whole foods that your great-great-grandparents would have recognized, plants and animals, stuff that grows in the ground and stuff that eats the stuff that grows in the ground, it's probably going to be a good idea for you to start there. And then from there, if you have a particular goal in mind, you can switch from just eating a healthy everyday diet, and then you can go on a diet to get a particular result. And if you have any questions about how you might want to implement that particularly for you and to address any problems you're facing, please send them my way and I'll answer them in a post like this. See ya!